Ever since I was a kid, I've loved Pokemon. I remember coming home, getting really excited and turning the TV to WB Kids, and watching an episode of my favorite anime. Seeing Ash struggle his way to becoming a Pokemon master was amazing, and hearing that classic Pokemon intro still pulls on my nostalgia strings even today. The original anime is iconic, but the question still needs to be asked. Was Ash ever a good trainer? Was his lack of tournament victories due to plot armor, or was it due to Ash just not building good teams? Well, in this new series I will be answering that question as we take a trip down memory lane. Today, I will be attempting to beat Pokemon Yellow with Ash's Pokemon and movesets, copying his journey as closely as possible. So, for this video, I will be using Ash's Pokemon, Ash's movesets, and I will only be learning new moves after Ash uses them in the anime. I will be attempting to catch Pokemon exactly when Ash catches them in the anime, and, sadly, I will be releasing Pokemon when Ash releases them in the anime. I will be trying to avoid overleveling, except in cases where I have reason to believe Ash overleveled, and when possible, I will be trying to battle gym leaders the way Ash battled them. My goal here isn't exactly a challenge run, it is an attempt to mirror Ash's journey as closely as I can, even when playing a Pokemon game this way is completely and ridiculously absurd. And believe me, this will be absurd, because Ash's Kanto journey is completely bonkers. Let's go! So, Ash begins Pokemon Yellow by being given a Pikachu by Professor Oak, while his rival Gary gets an Eevee. In the anime, Ash's Pikachu uses two moves in the very first episode, Thundershock and Thunderbolt. Pikachu doesn't learn Thunderbolt until level 26, but we can use Thundershock right away to defeat Eevee and win the rival battle. Ash immediately gets to work as a Pokemon trainer, capturing 2 Pokemon in just the 3rd episode of the show. So, I immediately head to Viridian Forest and capture a Caterpie, but I can't find the other Pokemon I need, so I start training my Pokemon for Brock instead. Brock is a serious issue for Ash, who really struggles here. Pikachu starts the anime knowing Thundershock and Thunderbolt, but doesn't learn Quick Attack until Lieutenant Surge, so I cannot use that move to defeat him. Thankfully, I do have hope, because at level 10, Butterfree learns Confusion, a special move that would deal a ton of damage to Brock's rock types. There's just one problem with that. Ash's Butterfree never learns Confusion. Ash's Butterfree also never learns Poison Powder, but it does learn Stun Spore and Sleep Powder. So now let's take a look at Butterfree's moveset, and let's play the clip of Butterfree evolving here. Immediately upon evolving, before gaining any experience as a Butterfree, Ash's Butterfree uses Sleep Powder. Ash's Butterfree also uses Stun Spore later against Misty, but never uses Confusion or Poison Powder. Ash's Butterfree doesn't know moves that it should learn at levels 10 and 13, but does learn moves that it should learn at levels 14 and 15. Looking at the data, there is only one conclusion to make here. Ash's Metapod evolved at level 14, then immediately reached level 15 somehow to save Ash from a horde of Beedrill. This happened before Ash faced Brock, so I am allowing it, but it also means I need to train on wild Pokemon in Viridian Forest with a Metapod until it reaches level 14. If you know me, you know I hate grinding on wild Pokemon, but I have no choice here. That's clearly the only way to make this anime logic make sense. It takes forever, but eventually I have a level 12 Pikachu that knows Thundershock and Thunderbolt, and a level 15 Butterfree that knows Tackle, String Shot, and Sleep Powder. But even after all that grinding in Viridian Forest, there's still one thing to do here. The second Pokemon Ash catches in Viridian Forest is a Pidgeotto. In Pokemon Red and Blue, Pidgeotto didn't appear in Viridian Forest, but in a clever reference to the anime, Pokemon Yellow gave Wild Pidgeotto a 1% spawn rate here. I've been training on wild Pokemon in the forest in hopes that I would find one, but even though I leveled up a Metapod to level 15 on wild Pokemon, I still haven't encountered this stupid bird. After another 20 minutes of searching on X4 game speed, it finally happens. I find the Pidgeotto and catch it. In the anime, this Pidgeotto uses Gust, Quick Attack, and Sand Attack very early on, which is actually a pretty good early game moveset for it. Unfortunately, Gust is a normal type move in Pokemon Yellow, so it's basically Quick Attack without priority. But with Stab and early evolved Pokemon stats, this Pidgeotto is going to be my bulkiest and strongest Pokemon for a little while. Still, I'm going into Brock with no special moves, and a Pikachu that literally can't do anything. When I do gym battles, I'm going to be doing them first attempting the exact Pokemon moves and strategies Ash chose, Then if I need to, I will be attempting them again using the same Pokemon Ash chose, but with my own strategies. If neither of the above work, then I'll throw everything Ash has at the problem and try and figure something out. So let's see, how did Ash overcome the odds and beat Brock with this team? Let's check. Okay, so he uses Thunderbolt on Geodude, then uses Thunderbolt on Onix, then gets bailed out by the sprinklers? Let's try it! Go, Pikachu! Thunder Shock attack! Again! Again! It's on the ropes! A few more times! Pikachu is unable to battle. Geodude is the winner! Oh no, I guess relying on electric attacks was a bad idea. Pikachu, return! I'll try with my own strategy now. Pidgeotto, go! Gust Sand Attacking Dodge! That's it! Land a Gust Attack! Wear it down with your superior speed! Gust won't stop Geodude. Geodude's rock typing and sky-high defenses are way too much for your Pidgeotto. Oh no! Pidgeotto, return! Come on out, Butterfree! Sleep Powder! That Sleep Powder could be bad. It's a good thing I have 5 full heals per Pokemon for absolutely no reason. That's alright, Butterfree. Just keep hitting Sleep Powders, then use Harden. Ah! I'm out of full heals and that overleveled Butterfree has way too much defense. Butterfree, Tackle Attack, knock that Geodude out! Geodude is unable to battle. Butterfree is the winner. You got through my Geodude, but you can't escape Onix. Butterfree, Sleep Powder. That won't work on me twice. 5 more full heals, go! Oh no! Butterfree is out of Sleep Powder. Butterfree, return! Go, Pidgeotto! Use Maximum Sand Attack! Onix, bind! Pidgeotto is unable to battle. Onix is the winner. That's alright, Pidgeotto. You did what you needed to do. Go, Butterfree, Tackle Attack! Sand Attack might prevent me from landing Tackle, but you can't dodge Bide. Yes, we can. Butterfree, Harden, then attack again once it's released energy. Onix, wear it out and use Bind. Come on, Butterfree, just one more tackle. Onix is unable to battle. Butterfree is the winner. Ash wins the Pewter City Gym Badge. With Ash's team, it isn't pretty. It isn't easy. But it is possible. Ash has a way to beat Brock and win the Pewter City Gym Badge without the help of the sprinklers. With 1 PP of tackle remaining, Ash's canonically overleveled Butterfree without confusion takes down the Rock Snake and wins the Pewter City Gym Badge. With Brock defeated, Ash's team doesn't change much in the next section of the game. Butterfree and Pidgeotto learn Whirlwind, which has no in-battle effect, so it's not going to be very helpful here. Still, our team is looking solid. Pikachu, an electric type, should be very useful against Misty's water types, except we can't use him. In the anime, Pikachu likes Misty and refuses to fight against her, which means we're going to need to beat her with Butterfree and Pidgeotto. Knowing this, I focus on training my flying types in Mount Moon. As I'm about to leave the cave,
prepare for trouble! And make it double.
Normally this would be a pretty easy fight for Ash, but right now, Butterfree is exhausted and has 0 PP in Tackle or Sleep Powder. So, Butterfree uses its other new move in this section, Stun Spore, to paralyze Ekans before switching out to Pikachu. Ekans uses Wrap while Pikachu uses Thunder Shock and the Electric Mouse comes out on top. Unfortunately, Meowth defeats Pikachu, leaving me with a damaged Pidgeotto to defeat both of Team Rocket's remaining Pokemon. Pidgeotto defeats Meowth, leaving it to face Coughing. Pidgeotto has absolutely no right to win this fight, and I have no idea what I'll do if he loses, because Butterfree never used Struggle in the anime. But, thankfully, Coughing misses a tackle and Pidgeotto knocks it out on 3 HP. I have a choice. I can fight the rival next, or I can battle Misty. I think Gary is going to be easier to beat, so I go for him first. Pikachu takes out his Spearow after Butterfree puts it to sleep. Pidgeotto takes out Sandshrew and Rattata, then Butterfree finishes off his Eevee. Easy battle, and I can train a bit more on Nugget Bridge. After defeating the Nugget Grunt, I pause. To continue on this route, I have to defeat a Hiker, and I still don't really have anything good for rock types. So, I turn around, walk back to town, and fight Misty. Let's check in on the anime to develop our strategy. Ash starts the battle by using Tackle on Butterfree, while Misty launches a nondescript counterattack with Staryu, possibly a tackle of her own. Then Misty does decent damage with Water Gun, only for Ash to switch tactics and use Stun Spore. Misty heals the Stun Spore by diving her Staryu underwater, then dodges a Sleep Powder the same way. She goes for more tackles, knocking Ash's Butterfree into the water, forcing Ash to switch Pokemon. Ash sends in Pidgeotto, and Misty decides to send in Starmie. Pidgeotto starts the battle with a Whirlwind, but Starmie dodges the attack by diving underwater. Starmie attacks with a tackle, I guess, but Pidgeotto blocks it with Wing Attack and then uses Gust, causing Starmie's core to start flashing, signaling it took a massive hit. Then Team Rocket comes in and messes everything up, ending the battle inconclusively. Strategy set, let's see if it works. So, the start of the battle works out even better than it did in the anime. Misty can't dive her Staryu underwater, so the Stun Spore lands, and Butterfree's tackle outdamages Staryu's water gun, leading to an early Ash victory. Unfortunately, Starmie comes out next, and this is where things go downhill. Ash switches to Pidgeotto, taking a massive Bubble Beam in the process. Then, Pidgeotto's Whirlwind does absolutely nothing, allowing Starmie to easily take out Pidgeotto, then feint Butterfree with another Bubble Beam. Misty's Starmie is kind of insane. Alright, Ash's plan didn't work, let's try this battle for real now. So, Butterfree may not have confusion, but Sleep Powder is insanely OP in Gen 1. Butterfree puts the Staryu to sleep and knocks it out with Tackle, then puts the Starmie to sleep and does a ton of damage. Starmie eventually wakes up and knocks Butterfree out, but it's taken way too much damage at this point, and one quick attack from Pidgeotto knocks it out. Conclusion? Just like in Pewter City, Ash had the team to win this battle, but his poor strategy should have prevented him from getting a badge. After beating Misty, Ash makes some major upgrades to his team, but we only have access to one of those upgrades right now. North of Cerulean City, we encounter an abandoned Charmander, which immediately puts us in a rules dilemma. This Charmander's only move right now is Flamethrower. It does eventually learn Ember, but it first uses Ember when Ash battles Koga, so by my rules, I shouldn't have access to the weak fire moves right now. However, this doesn't make much sense. In the anime, Charmander quickly became Ash's strongest Pokemon, and I can't train it if it can't attack. Ember is also just a strictly weaker version of Flamethrower, so I'm going to make an exception here. In this run, Charmander will start with Ember instead of learning it later, which will allow it to actually participate in battles before level 38. None of this matters quite yet though, because our next gym leader is Lieutenant Surge, who Ash canonically defeats with just Pikachu. In the next section of the game, I train up Pikachu as much as possible, fighting every trainer I can on the SSN before they disappear. By the time I reach the War Veteran, Pikachu has reached level 27 and learned Thunderbolt. We do have one issue, a very annoying bush. Since Ash's movesets are super constrained already, I will be allowing other Pokemon to serve as HM users in this playthrough, as long as they don't contribute to any battles. Before entering the Vermilion Gym, I catch a Diglett, teach it Cut, then let the Diglett get knocked out by wild Pokemon before I challenge the Electric Specialist. So let's check the anime to see how Ash's first battle against Surge goes. Ash uses Thundershock, barely scratching Raichu, before Raichu delivers a devastating Thundershock back. This is a clear mismatch, but Pikachu still wants to fight, so Raichu uses Mega Punch, Mega Kick, and Thunderbolt to knock Pikachu out and send it straight to the Pokemon Center. Okay, so using Thundershock is probably not a good strategy, but I'll try it anyway for science. Pikachu, use Thundershock! Raichu, use Mega Kick! Pika! Pikachu is unable to battle. Raichu is the winner! So, yeah. Point for the anime. Pikachu got destroyed. Now, in the anime, Ash has a training arc. Pikachu learns how to use Quick Attack and Agility, then gains Lightning Rod 4 generations early to nullify Raichu's Thunderbolt. With its superior speed, Ash is able to win the battle. However, let's be real. Ash was being really dumb going for Thundershock when he could have gone for Thunderbolt. Before I do a training arc fighting trainers on Route 11, I need to test what would happen if Ash used Thunderbolt instead of Thundershock. I'm pretty sure it's not enough, and my plan is still to go on the training arc if this test fails, but I gotta test it for science. Alright Pikachu, we're not gonna make the same mistake this time. Thunderbolt! Raichu, use this X speed. Raichu, go for a not very effective Thunderbolt. Raichu, growl! Raichu, use Growl again! Okay, Raichu, let's use Thunderbolt again! Raichu is unable to battle. Pikachu wins! This was not the plan. I really wanted to win this badge using Agility and Quick Attack at a higher level, grading Ash's actual strategy in the battle he won. However, Surge just threw, and I won. GG? For the record, Pikachu learned Quick Attack and Agility in this battle, and from now on, Pikachu can finally use these non-electric type moves. Ash's team really opens up after defeating Surge. While he canonically adds all 3 Kanto starters to his party before the Surge fight, Yellow only let me add one of them to my team before defeating Surge, so we're adding the other 2 starters now. The first starter is Bulbasaur, which starts with a moveset of Tackle and Vine Whip, then learns Razor Leaf after Ash beats Surge. This Pokemon is great, giving Ash's team an excellent answer to the ever-present Rock Ground types. Razor Leaf is also a fantastic move because it has a high crit rate, allowing Bulbasaur to do a lot of damage throughout the entire game. While it will be limited because it never evolves, Bulbasaur is still a great addition to the team that will help out a ton. Our other add to the team is Squirtle. The Water-type starter certainly has swag, but absolutely nothing else. Squirtle's moveset right now is Water Gun. That's it. Squirtle will not evolve, and will not learn another move until after I defeat Koga. Put bluntly, Squirtle is terrible. Training it is a waste of time, and this team would be much better if this thing didn't soak up so much valuable experience. This is by far the worst Pokemon in Ash's team, and having it is going to make the playthrough a lot more annoying. However, I'm not in charge of the strategy here. Ash is, and Ash absolutely does continue training Squirtle this entire arc. Therefore, for the foreseeable future, I'm going to try and keep all of my Pokemon evenly leveled, which means I need to train this Pokemon just as much as everyone else. Now, if you know me, you'll know that I absolutely hate grinding on wild Pokemon. I'm not going to do that unless I have literally no other options, but right now, my Kanto starters are super underleveled and can't train effectively against the nearby trainers. So, I make a compromise. I set the game to Switch mode, just until the Kanto starters catch up on levels and can start knocking Pokemon out themselves. This actually makes battles against random trainers a bit harder for me, because instead of just spamming Thunderbolt, my first turn is spent switching in a good Pokemon and taking a hit, so I'm fine using this mode for training purposes. I'll make sure to go back to set mode whenever any major fights come up, and only use it to train underleveled Pokemon. The next section of the game takes a while, as I train on every single trainer I can find, eventually making my way to Cerulean City. There, I would be able to face the next gym leader, except there's one problem. Ash doesn't face Erika for his 4th gym badge. Before he fights the Grass-type gym leader, he has to face Sabrina. Normally, Sabrina is the 6th gym leader in Kanto, but Ash faces her 4th. This order, while unconventional, is technically possible in Yellow, because Erika is completely skippable, and Ash absolutely skips her. So, instead of facing the Grass Specialist, I fight Team Rocket instead, fighting every grunt I can find. Jesse and James try to stop me, but Charmander and Pidgeotto are more than a match for their team. Giovanni is equally incompetent, as Squirtle takes out his Onix and Rhyhorn, then Bulbasaur finishes off his Persian. Next, Ash heads to Lavender Town to call up some ghost spirits. Gary tries to stop me, but he's not very strong right now, as Pikachu and Bulbasaur demolish his team. The channelers in Pokemon Tower are a lot more annoying. I don't have any ground or psychic type moves on this team. Pidgeotto can't touch them since it doesn't learn Wing Attack until level 31. They resist Bulbasaur's Razor Leaf, and my other moves just aren't very powerful. With Confuse Ray, Hypnosis, and Nightshade, these ghosts are ridiculously frustrating. But with the level and Pokemon advantage, I get through them eventually. Squirtle calms the spirit of Marowak, then Team Rocket tries to stop me again. Pidgeotto, Pikachu, and Bulbasaur send them blasting off again. Then I get the Pokeflute, which allows me to catch my next Pokemon. Ash was supposed to catch a Krabby before Surge, but the earliest I can obtain Krabby in Pokemon Yellow is by using a Super Rod, which I can only access after waking up a Snorlax south of Lavender Town. Now, I'm really excited for Krabby. This thing is a beast, with massive physical attack and a fantastic signature move in Crab Hammer. This crab is all set to crush the game. So, Ash catches Krabby, and... oops! Ash can't carry more than 6 Pokemon in his party. The crab is sent to Professor Oak, never to be seen again until the Pokemon League. Sadly, there is another thing that happens around this time. Something I've been putting off doing because I don't want it to happen. Ash needed 6 Pokemon in his party to not use Krabby, but now, I have no excuse to avoid this next task. Ash's best early game Pokemon has fallen off. Butterfree, which carried our Ash throughout the Brock and Misty fights, wants to be free. So, Ash gives a tearful farewell. Bye-bye, Butterfree. Now, Ash is only carrying 5 Pokemon with him. Does he use that empty slot to get another Pokemon? Like, say, to start training Krabby? Nope! Until we beat Sabrina, we're running with a 5-mon team. Next, I spend a long time fighting Rockets and Silph, trying to defeat every grunt for that sweet trainer-boosted EXP. My unevolved Pokemon and terrible movesets are starting to slow me down a ton. Even random rocket grunts can do a number to my team before I beat them. I'm having to heal after every couple of battles, and earning experience is rough. Interestingly, Ash's most powerful Pokemon is definitely Pikachu right now. Thunderbolt is just an excellent move compared to what Ash's other Pokemon have, and Pikachu has enough speed to go first against most opponents, which makes the electric rodent feel amazing. The rest of Ash's team really struggles compared to a normal playthrough of this game, but he is still winning pretty much every battle, so his theme feels surprisingly canonically accurate. It's cool, I definitely didn't expect that going into the run. Ash's next major hurdle is Gary, and despite all of our training, Ash's Pokemon are still a bit underleveled here. Still, the battle is pretty close, as Charmander gets Gary's Jolteon below half health before going down. I try again, this time using Bulbasaur to defeat his lead. Because the good AI in Gen 1 doesn't know what it's doing, Gary's Sandslash will always use Poison Sting on my Grass-type Bulbasaur, because it thinks Poison Sting is super effective. This lets Bulbasaur easily knock out Gary's Sandslash. Squirtle can take out his Ninetales but loses to the Cloyster. Pikachu finishes Gary's Cloyster, but then Kadabra and Jolteon are way too much for my team to handle and I lose a second time. Then, a third time. My fourth try, I realize what my strategy has to be. Normally, Kadabra falls really quickly to any half-decent physical move, but my best physical move is Quick Attack from Pidgeotto and Pikachu. I can't two-shot Gary's Kadabra, which lets it spam Recover while whittling down my team with Psybeam. Thankfully, I do have an option to counter this, one that I thought would be completely useless coming into this playthrough. After Surge, but before Sabrina, Charmander learns Leer. A moveset of Leer and Ember is pure anti-synergy, but it's useful exactly here. When Kadabra comes out, I send in Charmander, using Leer on it 3 times before it goes down. With that, Pidgeotto's Quick Attack one-shots the Psychic type, giving me 3 fully healthy Pokemon to take on Gary's Jolteon. Jolteon tries to take out Pidgeotto with Thundershock, but my bird survives on 10 HP, getting off 2 sand attacks before it goes down. Jolteon's Pin Missile deals massive X4 super effective damage to Bulbasaur, but the Grass Starter clutches up with 2 hit points remaining, dealing massive damage with 2 Razor Leafs before going down. At this point, it's all up to Pikachu, the son of Arceus himself. Pikachu, use Quick Attack! Jolteon, double kick, now! Jolteon is unable to battle. Pikachu is the winner! In his toughest battles so far in the entire playthrough, Ash defeats his rival, and moves on to finish off Team Rocket. Jesse and James try to fight Ash, but they really need to stop, and it's time to battle Giovanni. Squirtle defeats Nidorino and Rhyhorn, Pidgeotto defeats Persian, and Bulbasaur eventually defeats Nidoqueen. Giovanni is easy, Team Rocket is defeated, and I can finally take on Sabrina. I fight every trainer in Sabrina's gym for experience, trying to beat Sabrina as quickly as possible while sucking up experience from trainers before they disappear. Her gym trainers, though, are no pushovers, and her channelers are so annoying. A channeler with 2 Ghastlies and a Haunter actually manages to defeat my entire team. Her Pokemon take so long to knock out with special moves, so Sleep and Confusion overwhelm me. This isn't a fluke either. When I fight her a second time, I barely win. Ash's Bulbasaur clutches up against Haunter as my last Pokemon, surviving paralyzed with 13 HP remaining. With Sabrina's gym cleared, it's time for Sabrina herself. So, as always, it's time to go to the anime to let Ash prepare my strategy for this battle. Okay, so already we're doing some weird stuff. Sabrina asked for a one-on-one battle, which isn't going to happen, but whatever. Sabrina sends out Abra, and Ash sends out Pikachu. Abra is asleep, so Pikachu uses Thunder Shock, which Abra dodges with Teleport. Then Abra, evolves into Kadabra, and Pikachu attempts to catch Kadabra using Thunder. Hey look, a new move! I won't learn that until level 41, but it's nice to know I can learn it when Pikachu gets there. Kadabra then uses Confusion to, make the Thunder hit Pikachu, and then absolutely abuses Pikachu with Psychic. Ash, realizing this is hopeless, gives up, and Sabrina, turns everyone into dolls. Yes, that is a thing that happened in the Pokemon anime. First gen Pokemon anime was weird, man. Okay, so how does Ash actually beat Sabrina?
There just may be one way you can defeat her.
Huh?
Only one other type of Pokemon can battle the Psychic type. If you capture a ghost Pokemon from Lavender Town, you might have a chance.
A ghost Pokemon from Lavender Town. Thank you.
Well, they get out of Sabrina's dollhouse, and Ash's task was catching a Haunter to stop Sabrina. Now, I did actually catch a Haunter in the Pokemon Tower, and I meant to bring it into this battle, but I completely forgot in the moment. However, using Haunter to fight Sabrina is, sadly, a terrible strategy. First of all, my Haunter is super underleveled. However, even if it were leveled properly, Game Freak made a mistake programming the game. Instead of being weak to Ghost-type moves, Psychic Pokemon are actually immune to Ghost-type moves. The reason nobody at Game Freak noticed this is obvious, and makes this even worse. There's only one Ghost-type damage-dealing move in the game, and it is the base power 20 Lick. So even if the type did work properly, Lick isn't doing much damage to anything. This gets even worse for our poor Haunter. For some reason, Game Freak decided to give their only Ghost-type line a secondary Poison typing. Poison is weak to Psychic, so Psychic-type moves are actually super effective against the one Pokemon that was supposed to counter them. Basically, the anime lied to us. Battling Sabrina with Ghosts is not the solution here. But the question still remains, how exactly did Ash get his gym badge? Well, Ash never exactly catches Haunter, the ghost just follows him around for a bit. Then, in the moment of truth,
Haunter?
Well, where is your Pokemon?
Oh no, not again!
That's it.
Why don't you forfeit?
That way I'll have new dolls to play with.
Haunter! Haunter! You promised me! Where'd you go? Please stop hiding! Haunter! Haunter!
Haunter completely disappears on Ash. With no other options, Pikachu willingly tries to battle again, and this time the battle goes a bit better. Pikachu lands a strong Thunderbolt on Kadabra, but the Psychic type recovers off the damage and things look hopeless. Then, Haunter comes in and makes Sabrina laugh, curing the Psychic type specialist of her psychotic tendencies. Sabrina gives Ash the Marsh badge, decides she's done turning people into dolls, and faces no other consequences for her actions. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't know how to make an in-game strategy out of that. Here Sabrina has 3 Pokemon, so, I'm just gonna fight her and see how it goes. It doesn't go well. The anime got one thing right. By fighting Sabrina this early, Ash is severely underleveled. Sabrina's Kadabra deals massive damage with Psychic, even one-shotting Pidgeotto, my bulkiest Pokemon. Pikachu paralyzes it before Bulbasaur takes it out with Razor Leaf, but then Alakazam comes out. The level 50 fully evolved Psychic type annihilates Bulbasaur and Squirtle, and the fight doesn't even feel close. I try again, this time leading with Pidgeotto to get Abra low, then switching into Pikachu to finish it off without any accuracy drops. Kadabra, though, one-shots Pikachu and Charmander with Psychic. Pidgeotto makes a comeback, using Sand Attack and Quick Attack to defeat Kadabra, giving me some hope. I switch to Squirtle to get my accuracy back, then switch back to Pidgeotto. My Quick Attack isn't doing anything against Alakazam's Reflect and X-Defend, but Sabrina throws, giving me time to set up 5 Sand Attacks, Then it's Bulbasaur time. Come on, Bulbasaur, keep up the Razor Leafs! Alakazam, spam Reflect and Psywave. So theoretically, Sabrina easily had many paths to win this battle 100% of the time. She could have recover stalled Bulbasaur to infinity. One Psychic connecting would have sent my plant to the Shadow Realm. But as the Razor Leafs kept hitting, and Sabrina kept missing, something amazing happened. Bulbasaur won, and just like in the anime, Ash earned his Marsh badge on his second attempt. Ash's next gym leader is Erika, but before he faces the Grass-type specialist, Ash adds one more Pokemon to his team, Primeape. Unfortunately, we can't catch Primeape quite yet, because even though it starts the episode as a Mankey, it evolves into a Primeape before Ash catches it. This Primeape also starts with the move Thrash, and there is only one place in the game where the player can catch a Primeape with Thrash, which we cannot access yet. We'll get to Primeape eventually, but for now, we're sidelining this story. Ash doesn't use Primeape in any major upcoming battles, so we're pretty safe doing this. We do, however, get a couple of new moves for Charmander. The first move, Rage, is a move Charmander already knows, and now can use. Rage is bad though, so I won't be using this move the entire playthrough. The second move, though, is a TM move, and to access it, we need to take a little detour down to Fuchsia City. Once we get there, I head to the Safari Zone, find the move I need, and teach it to Charmander. Then I head to Celadon Gym and fight all the trainers there. Charmander roasts all the grass types in the gym and levels up to 38, finally learning Flamethrower, and I'm ready to face Erika. Since Ash delayed Erika, he's a bit overleveled for this fight, so will his strategies finally work? Let's check up on Ash and see how he got the Rainbow badge in the anime. We start off with a 3v3 battle, where Erika's Tangela faces Ash's Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur uses Vine Whip, which Tangela resists using Constrict. Then Tangela uses Stun Spore, paralyzing Bulbasaur. Ash recalls Bulbasaur, thinks about sending in Primeape, but then reconsiders, choosing Charmander instead. Erika recalls Tangela, sending out Weeping Bell, setting up a Weeping Bell vs Charmander matchup. Weeping Bell uses Razor Leaf, and Charmander uses Flamethrower. The Flamethrower wins, and then Charmander uses his special tactics to finish off Weeping Bell, the move it learned specifically for this battle.
Skull Bash, no!
Weeping Bell, return now!
It works, sending Weeping Bell flying and knocking it out. Erika then sends out Gloom, which launches a stinky spray, which immediately knocks Charmander out. Ash is down to Pikachu at this point, and he thinks it's hopeless. There's no way Pikachu can fight through bad smells. However, Pikachu disagrees, and the mouse is confident he can win. Pikachu and Gloom set up for an epic clash to decide the match, and Team Rocket comes in and blows up the gym. Pikachu and Gloom never get to finish the match, and Ash earns the gym badge by saving Gloom from the gym fire. You know what, anime? I can work with this. For this battle, I'm bringing in Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Pikachu. Let's go! The battle starts the same, Bulbasaur versus Tangela. However, Bulbasaur has a secret advantage here that the anime Bulbasaur didn't have, the Gen 1 AI. Erika sees that Bulbasaur is a grass type, thinks Stun Spore is not very effective against Bulbasaur, and then decides to only use Constrict and Bind against my plant. I use Vine Whip turn 1, then switch to Razor Leaf, and with a level advantage, Bulbasaur outdamages Tangela, giving me a 1-0 lead. Erika sends out Weeping Bell, quickly evening the score by knocking out Bulbasaur with Acid, so I send out Charmander. The Fire-type outspeeds, uses Flamethrower, and one-shots Weeping Bell. Thank you, Ash, for using a good move for once. This feels wonderful. Now we only have Gloom left, and I know what I must do. Charmander! Hit it with Skull Bash! Gloom, respond with Acid! Skull Bash isn't a good move. It's a base power 100, 2-turn move that does nothing the turn you use it, then deals damage the next turn. With this move, Charmander and Gloom have an epic back and forth between Skull Bash and Acid. Charmander deals a ton of damage, but Erika's Pokemon wins. This sets up an epic showdown between Gloom and Pikachu. This time, Team Rocket won't interrupt our battle. This time, these Pokemon will finish their match, and we'll have a true victor in this gym battle. Pikachu! Use Quick Attack! Gloom is unable to battle. Pikachu is the winner. Ash has won the Rainbow Badge. Was Ash's strategy the most efficient way to win here? No. But it worked. I didn't need to make up my own strategies here. Ash was good enough to win this Rainbow Badge with his own Pokemon and his own strategies. Skull Bash for the win. Now that he's beaten Erika, Ash catches another Pokemon we can't access yet, Muck. Once again though, Ash doesn't use Muck until the Pokemon League, so we'll skip it for now. Other than that, we can go straight to Koga. So let's see how Ash earns his Soul Badge. First, Ash faces Koga's daughter in a battle, using Bulbasaur against her Venonat. Normally, I wouldn't count this, but since Koga has 3 Venonats and Venomoth on his team, I think the anime is probably referencing the Venonat here. Venonat uses Stun Spore, but Bulbasaur blows it away with a, Whirlwind? That's weird. Then, Bulbasaur uses Vine Whip ineffectually, gets hit hard by a Psybeam, and ends it with a new move, Leech Seed. This Leech Seed traps Venonat and gives Bulbasaur the win. After that, Ash battles Koga, who leads with his own Venonat. That immediately evolves into Venomoth. Ash sends out Pidgeotto. Venomoth uses Stun Spore, which Pidgeotto tries and fails to blow away with a Whirlwind. Then Venomoth follows it up with Sleep Powder, knocking out Pidgeotto. Ash sends out Charmander next, which uses Flamethrower to clear Venomoth's Stun Spore. Then, Team Rocket shows up and ruins everything. Eventually, Ash and Koga continue their match, this time ending it with Charmander vs. Golbat. Golbat uses Wing Attack, and Charmander counters with Ember. Golbat uses Screech to attack from a distance. Charmander responds with Flamethrower, then finishes the Golbat off with Fire Spin. You know, this battle is great and all, but I really have no idea what to do with it when Koga's team in Pokemon Yellow is 3 Venonats and a Venomoth. I'm just gonna battle him and see what happens. At least the new moves are cool. As of now, Bulbasaur can use Leech Seed, and I will be able to teach Charmander Fire Spin when it learns the move. I lead with Bulbasaur and use my newly acquired Leech Seed on his Venonat. Unfortunately, Leech Seed acts much slower in the game than it does in the anime, so Venonat 2-shots Bulbasaur with Psychic before I can do any damage to it. Go for it, Pidgeotto, use Wing Attack! Venonat, use Toxic! Pidgeotto takes out the Venonat with 3 super effective Wing Attacks, then takes out his second Venonat, taking a ton of damage in the process. Koga's third Venonat finishes Pidgeotto, but it's done its job. Charmander comes in next and finishes off Venonat with Flamethrower, and Koga is down to his last Pokemon. Venomoth uses a powerful Psychic, dealing massive damage to Charmander and causing a special drop, but Charmander's Flamethrower burns Venomoth. Charmander goes down to another Psychic, and it's all up to Pikachu. Our mouse deals a ton of damage with Thunderbolt, but takes a powerful Psychic in the process, falling down to 2 HP. Pikachu survives, uses another Thunderbolt, and Venomoth goes down. I couldn't really test his anime tactics, but his team was just enough to win the Soul Badge. Ash has 6 badges now, and it's time for his team to get a few massive upgrades. First off, Ash gets a few awesome new moves. Bulbasaur learns Solar Beam in the place of Tackle, which sounds really cool, but in Gen 1, it's actually pretty bad. There's pretty much never any reason to use this move over Razor Leaf, so I'm going to pretty much never use it the entire playthrough. Squirtle, though, finally gets a new move. Its moveset is doubled, and now it learns Skull Bash! Man, what is it with the anime and this move? They really liked it. As sad as this is, Skull Bash isn't even completely useless on Squirtle, because its moveset is really that terrible. I will occasionally use this. The true reward here, though, is Ash's first ever evolution. Charmander has been destroying gym leaders left and right recently, and it's rewarded with not 1, but 2 evolutions. In the span of just 1 gym leader, Ash's Charmander turns into Charizard, and learns 2 new moves. Submission is a base power 80 fighting type move with 80% accuracy, which I guess is kind of useful for super effective coverage against normal types, and it deals decent neutral damage against fire types. Seismic Toss is another pretty cool move which deals fixed damage equal to the user's level, which is nice against specially bulky opponents. Charizard's moveset is now Flamethrower, Skull Bash, Seismic Toss, and Submission. What a crazy moveset! I can't imagine anyone other than Ash would ever come up with it. Before we can fight Blaine, we also need to get some new team members. First up, we have Muck, which we can catch in the Cerulean Power Plant. This fully evolved poison type could be a great member of the team, except that Ash could smell through its Pokeball and decided to ditch Muck immediately, sending it to Professor Oak. We can't use this thing again until the League. Next, Ash catches Tauros, the king of competitive Gen 1. Actually, he doesn't just capture 1, he captures 30. With its excellent normal stab, coverage with the usual special stat, high crit rate, and Gen 1 Hyper Beam, it has everything it needs to... Ash? Ash, what are you doing? Don't you dare send that to Professor Oak. Come on, I need this, Ash. Please do one thing right. Yeah. So these Tauros don't use a move until the Orange Island arc, so we can't use this. I just wasted all that time in the Safari Zone for nothing. The final Pokemon we can capture is in a weird place that I didn't even realize was accessible with 6 badges before this challenge. When I arrive at Vermilion City, instead of going south, I head west towards Victory Road. Just before Victory Road, there's a patch of grass with some high-level Pokemon, including a level 46 Primeape. Even though Ash canonically catches this Primeape between Sabrina and Erika, this Primeape is caught with the move Thrash, which it only learns at level 46. So this overleveled Primeape is canon, and I'm excited to destroy some trainers with it. First, I need to teach it some new moves. This Primeape knows Thrash, Scratch, Mega Kick, and Seismic Toss. And while it's impossible to teach Scratch, I can head to Celadon City to buy the TM for Mega Kick. Upon getting this Primeape, Ash immediately enters it in a fighting type competition, so I have it completely thrash every Pokemon inside the fighting dojo. Then, Ash gives Primeape away to a fighting type trainer. So with its mission complete, I release Primeape and we will never talk about it again. That was a lot of side quests for very little gain. Ash, you're bad at this. Well, let's check in on him and see how he handles Blaine and earns his Volcano badge. So, Blaine is a madman who set up his gym on top of an active volcano above a massive pool of very deadly lava. Blaine sends out Ninetales while Ash sends out Squirtle. Ninetales uses Fire Spin while Squirtle uses Water Gun, and Squirtle gets roasted. Next up, we have Ash's Charizard versus Blaine's Rhydon. Rhydon uses Horn Drill, and Charizard just doesn't feel like battling, noping out of the arena and forfeiting Ash the point. Pikachu comes out to fight Rhydon, and Pikachu proves its mastery over ground types by aiming a Thunderbolt towards the horn, knocking Rhydon out. Then, Blaine uses Magmar, which hits Pikachu with the Fire Punch, uses Superheated Air to block Pikachu's Thunderbolt, then uses Fire Blast to send Pikachu careening off the edge of the volcano. Ash, not wanting Pikachu to perish, forfeits. The next day, Team Rocket nearly blows up Cinnabar Island, but Ash and his Pokemon help save it. Blaine rewards Ash with a rematch, and this time Magmar fights Charizard. The battle is a back and forth affair, with Charizard using its new moves to eventually become victorious. So, the only thing I can get out of this is updating Charizard's moveset and leading Squirtle against Blaine's Ninetales. For everything else, I'm just going to battle him and see what happens. Blaine leads Ninetales and I lead Squirtle. You might have assumed the anime was unrealistic here, because water should beat fire, but if so, you're forgetting something. This isn't a normal water type. This is Ash's Squirtle, the most useless Pokemon on the planet. Squirtle's Water Gun does nothing to Ninetales, while Confuse Ray and Flamethrower bring Squirtle down to 12 HP. Still, while Squirtle is outmatched, it still isn't worse than the Gen 1 AI. Blaine's Ninetales uses Confuse Ray and Tail Whip, while its Squirtle gets a critical hit, allowing Squirtle to take out his lead. Squirtle is still Squirtle though, so his victory doesn't last long. Rapidash uses Stomp and takes it out. Rapidash also takes out Pikachu and deals massive damage to Pidgeotto before a Quick Attack finishes it. Then, Blaine sends in his ace. The Pokemon Ash fears, the Pokemon that took Charizard to the limit. He sends out... Arcanine? Blaine really should have a Magmar. It would be a great fit for him. Still, Arcanine is also really cool, and probably an even tougher opponent. Blaine's ace immediately takes out Pidgeotto, then one-shots Bulbasaur after setting up Reflect, taking a Leech Seed in the process. Just like in the anime, this battle ends up in an epic 1v1 showdown, Arcanine versus Charizard. Arcanine and Charizard start with dueling inaccurate moves, missing Takedown, while Charizard misses Submission twice. Arcanine hits Charizard with a powerful Fire Blast, but Leech Seed slowly saps its health, healing Charizard in the process. Charizard changes tactics, hitting with a powerful Seismic Toss, then dealing some additional damage with Flamethrower. Charizard finally hits with Submission, and it looks like he's about to win with another Seismic Toss, until Arcanine dodges, hits a takedown, and Charizard faints. Just like in the anime, Ash loses his first battle against Blaine because Ash didn't know how to use Charizard correctly. Honestly, I can't even blame Ash's team here, because this loss was completely my fault. I misplayed hard with Charizard. My next attempt starts out even worse, with Squirtle losing to the Ninetales. I told you this thing is useless. Pikachu comes out next and takes out Ninetales, only to lose to Rapidash. Pidgeotto beats Rapidash and gets 2 sand attacks off an Arcanine before going down. Then Bulbasaur Leech Seeds Blaine's ace. Charizard and Arcanine face off again, but this time I know I should be using Seismic Toss. I don't get a Gen 1 miss, and the Arcanine misses a couple of takedowns. When the dust settles, Charizard emerges victorious in the Battle of Fire types, and Ash wins the Volcano Badge. Honestly, given how ridiculous Ash's battle against Blaine was in the anime, I feel like I matched it shockingly well. Charizard carried here to give Ash his 7th badge. Ash only gets 1 moveset change in between Blaine and Giovanni. Squirtle gets a 3rd move. Will it finally make Squirtle viable? Is Squirtle finally going to get a redemption arc? No. No, he will not. In between Blaine and Giovanni, after 7 gym badges, Squirtle earns... drumroll please... Tackle! The writers must hate this Pokemon or something, because this is just embarrassing at this point. In the anime, Ash's Giovanni gym battle is probably the most ridiculous one yet. Giovanni needs to step out, leaving Team Rocket in charge of the gym, and Team Rocket has absolutely no idea what they're doing. Jessie challenges Ash to a triple battle, cheats, and uses more Pokemon when she starts losing. Then Ash uses more of his Pokemon to counter that. Pikachu electrocutes yet another ground type into oblivion, and Team Rocket is sent blasting off again. It's a fun episode, but there is zero strategy to be learned here. Pidgeotto does at least learn Double Edge in this battle, which is a great upgrade over Gus. With that, it's time to fight Giovanni. Ash leads with Charizard, taking out Giovanni's Dugtrio and Persian. Then, Bulbasaur takes out the rest of his team. Giovanni's AI incorrectly views Earthquake, Thunder, and Double Kick is not very effective against Bulbasaur's Grass Poison typing, which means he will only spam Leer and Tail Whip against him with his Nidoking and Nidoqueen. So, Bulbasaur crushes them completely risk-free, and one-shots Rhydon with Razor Leaf, ending the battle with a resounding victory. With Giovanni utterly demolished, Ash has all 8 badges, and he's ready to challenge the Pokemon League. Or, almost ready. First, I need to make some moveset upgrades, then choose a 6th member for the Pokemon League. Squirtle actually gets a pretty nice moveset upgrade here. In Mewtwo Strikes Back, which I'm assuming canonically takes place between Giovanni and the League, Squirtle uses Bubble Beam, which doesn't make it good, but at least makes it slightly better. Squirtle also uses Withdraw during the League, which is something? Since Ash uses Muck and Kingler in the League, I can add either one to my team. If I were choosing the best possible team, I'd add both of them and kick out Squirtle, but since I don't want to abandon Ash's original 5 Pokemon, I will only choose one. I think my option here is obvious. Muck only comes once to the League, and only knows one move at this point, Body Slam. This is a great move, and Muck is a good user of it. So, I withdraw Muck from the PC, teach Muck Body Slam, then give this Pokemon straight back to Oak because I'm not using it. My last Pokemon is going to be Krabby. In a single episode, this crab makes its battling debut, 3-0s Ash's first round opponent, and uses 8 different moves in the process. It uses Harden, Vice Grip, Leer, Stomp, Water Gun, Bubble, Crab Hammer, and Hyper Beam. Now, while I've been battling every single trainer that disappears, I've been leaving a lot of trainers unbattled, and that's because I've been saving them to train up Kingler. Now, I'm also a bit of an idiot. It's kind of funny, because in Krabby's debut episode, Misty doesn't think Krabby can win because it lacks battle experience. But I think Misty is wrong. Krabby hasn't been with Ash all this time. He's been with a much better trainer with far more experience, Professor Oak. Do you really think that Krabby defeated one Pokemon, evolved immediately, and then pulled out moves like Crabhammer and freaking Hyper Beam out of nowhere? No. Oak trained this Pokemon, and he trained it well. So, to simulate that, I should have sent Krabby to the daycare instead of boxing him when I caught him. I also could have, I don't know, gone to Seafoam Island and caught a level 30 Krabby, then trained that one. There'd be no way as a viewer for you to tell the difference. But I didn't do either of those things. I sat down, put my game on Switch mode again, then battled every trainer in Kanto to train up this Krabby from level 15. I fought every single trainer I could find in routes 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then, Kingler crushed every trainer in between Fuchsia and the Seafoam Islands. My crab continued training on trainers north and east of Cinnabar, and crushed through the remaining trainers in Cycling Road. I finished off every single trainer in Kanto that I could find, got myself a coin case, and started donating egregious amounts of money to Team Rocket. My goal? Gain 5,500 coins to buy the TM for Hyper Beam. After selling every item I'm not going to use, I'm still 250 coins short. Well, it's time to head to Victory Road. After all that training, my entire team is level 43, and it's time to face my rival once again. Ash's Bulbasaur takes out Sandslash. Then our Pidgeotto defeats Execute, but loses to Ninetales. Squirtle takes out the Fox, and Pikachu dodges a Clamp to defeat Cloyster. Things are looking really good, with Ash having a 5-2 Pokemon lead, but Gary's last two Pokemon are a problem. Kadabra uses Reflect, while Pikachu tries to knock it down with Thunder. Kadabra, though, just recovers off the damage, then uses a Psychic to knock out my starter. It's suddenly 4-2. Next, I send in Kingler, hoping to take out Kadabra with Stomp. Kadabra's Reflect blocks the damage, it heals with Recover, then sends Kingler flying with another Psybeam. It's 3-2, and things are looking way scarier. Next up, I send in Charizard, which defeats Kadabra with a couple Flamethrowers. Gary's Jolteon, though, is amazing against my team. It tanks a Flamethrower, then knocks Charizard out with the Thunder. I'm down to Bulbasaur and Squirtle. Bulbasaur gets off 3 Razor Leafs and gets Jolteon super low, but Pin Missile is X4 effective against Bulbasaur this generation, and my Grass Starter goes down. It's a 1v1, my worst Pokemon against Gary's best. If Gary hits with Thunder, Squirtle goes down and Ash loses. Jolteon! Use Thunder! Wave! Squirtle! Bubble Beam! Jolteon is unable to battle. Squirtle is the winner. Ash has defeated Gary. With my last major hurdle before the league cleared, I go to Victory Road, defeating every trainer there. This gives me enough money to teach Kingler Hyper Beam in the place of Vice Grip, and I have enough money left over to buy a few healing items for the league. I train my team up to level 45 for the next damage rounding threshold, then I think about what I want to do. During the league, Ash's team wasn't equally leveled. There was a clear strongest Pokemon on the team, and this Pokemon started disobeying Ash because it leveled up too fast and didn't respect Ash as a trainer. Ash lost to Richie because while Charizard outclassed his team, the Pokemon refused to obey him. To reflect that power imbalance, before heading into the league, I'm going to give Charizard all 12 of my rare candies right now. However, to reflect the disobedience, I will be unable to command Charizard in the league. Whenever I attack with Charizard, I will roll a 4-sided die, then choose my attack based on the die roll. From now on, Charizard is going to use random attacks. Before we fight the league, let's take a look at Ash's final team. Pikachu! With Thunder, Thunderbolt, Quick Attack, and Agility, Pikachu brings a consistent, speedy firepower against almost everything the league can throw at it. Pidgeotto! With Double Edge, Quick Attack, Sand Attack, and Wing Attack, Ash's regional bird can dish out some damage, has priority to pick up low health targets, and has ways to really mess up some of the strongest threats in the league. Bulbasaur! With Razor Leaf, Leech Seed, Solar Beam, and Vine Whip, Bulbasaur can deal heavy damage with critical hits and help teammates stall out powerful foes. Squirtle! With Bubble Beam, Water Gun, Tackle, and Withdraw, the turtle can, sometimes deal some damage before it faints? Kingler! With Stomp, Vice Grip, Hyper Beam, and Crabhammer, Kingler can output massive damage from both the physical and special side. It's also not done learning moves yet, so keep an eye out for the final set. And finally, we have Charizard. At level 57, this fire lizard is rocking Flamethrower, Fire Spin, Submission, and Seismic Toss. This untrained beast may not have the best strategy, but don't underestimate it, because it is a monster. Let's go! Lorelei is the Pikachu show. This battle is scary to start because Dugong deals a ton of damage with Bubble Beam, slowing Pikachu down in the process. Then, Lorelei makes a crucial mistake, using Rest instead of finishing Pikachu off. With that, Pikachu is able to get back at speed with 2 agilities and finish off Lorelei's lead. Next up is Cloyster, which survives the Thunderbolt on low health and deals a devastating Ice Beam, but Pikachu survives to 3 HP and KOs with the second Thunderbolt. Another Thunderbolt puts Slowbro into Super Potion range, letting Pikachu finish it off, taking no damage. Lorelei only has 2 Pokemon left, and Jinx is cannon fodder for Kingler. 1 Hyper Beam finishes the frail Psychic type off. With that, we're left with Kingler vs Lapras, and Kingler wins the 1v1. Ash crushes Lorelei for his first league win. Ash's next victim is Bruno, the weakest trainer in the Elite Four. Bulbasaur takes off his first 4 Pokemon by itself. Machamp is a bit more difficult, taking down Bulbasaur, Pidgeotto, and Squirtle. But Kingler takes out the fighting type, giving Ash another easy win. Agatha is the next member of the Elite Four, and she's a fair bit trickier. Pidgeotto has a good matchup against her League Gengar, being immune to Lick and resisting Mega Drain while doing consistent damage with Wing Attack. It's not as good as I'd like, since Wing Attack still needs 2 hits to take out Gengar's substitute, and Confuse Ray can still mess up Pidgeotto, but it should be enough to take out her lead. Unfortunately, I mess up, switching in Squirtle to cure confusion on Pidgeotto. Agatha uses Mega Drain, one-shotting Squirtle from full and healing a bunch of HP. Eventually, Agatha switches out Gengar into Golbat, but that just lets Pikachu take Golbat and Gengar out with Thunderbolt. Agatha switches into Haunter, so I send out Pidgeotto, but then she switches into Arbok, so I bring out Kingler. Agatha switches back to Haunter, which takes 3 Crabhammers in a row and gets knocked out. After some more switching, Agatha gets a win, knocking out Pikachu with a critical hit Acid from Arbok, but Kingler gets his revenge with a Crabhammer. We're down to Agatha's Gengar against 4 of Ash's Pokemon, but this last Gengar is by far her strongest Pokemon. It immediately takes out Kingler with Psychic, knocks out Pidgeotto after taking 2 Sand attacks, then deletes Bulbasaur after getting hit by Leech Seed. For the first time in the league, Ash has to use his ultimate weapon, Charizard. Luckily for me, Charizard plays it smart this time. Ash's strongest Pokemon leads off with a Fire Spin, doing massive damage when combined with Leech Seed, then finishes off Agatha's ace with Flamethrower. On his first league attempt, Ash has made it to Lance. Now, I have a decision to make. Because I spent so much money buying Hyper Beam, I only have 3 max revives, 2 revives, 1 full heal, and 7 Hyper Potions left in my bag. If I use these items to revive my team, I will not be able to revive any fainted Pokemon in preparation for the champion battle. Basically, this run is screwed, and the smart thing to do would be to save my healing items, intentionally black out to Lance, then only use my healing items if I have enough left to mount a real league challenge. However, this is my first attempt against the league. I want to see what Lance is like for a full-strength Ash. So, I use my last revives and challenge the Dragon-type Master. The battle starts well, with Pikachu 2-shotting Gyarados with Thunderbolt. Then, things get bad. Lance sends out his Dragonair, which is a nightmare for my team. I'm overconfident, hoping I can beat Lance without suffering a single KO, so I switch to Bulbasaur. The Dragonair uses Hyper Beam, bringing Bulbasaur down to 10 HP, while Bulbasaur sets up Leech Seed. I switch to Kingler, which takes a super effective Thunderbolt and gets paralyzed in the process. Then I switch back to Bulbasaur, which gets wrecked by Hyper Beam. Pidgeotto gets one-shot by a critical hit Thunderbolt. I try to KO the Dragonair with Thunder from Pikachu, but it doesn't do enough damage, so Lance heals this monster with a Hyper Potion. Pikachu deals some damage before getting knocked out by Slam. Squirtle fails to do much of anything, and I have no choice but to bring out Charizard to fight a 2v4. My Fire Lizard deletes Dragonair with a submission, then takes out Lance's second Dragonair in a close fight. Lance's Aerodactyl, though, is too much for my weakened team. Finishing off Charizard with Swift, then knocking out Kingler with Fly. This was devastating. Ash's first league attempt ended with a decisive loss to Lance, and Ash is completely broke. I don't have any revives left, so my strategy now is clear. I'm going to fight the league repeatedly without using any healing items in between battles, spending all of my money on revives, full heals, and lemonades in between attempts. Slowly, Ash's team will start to gain more experience until it's finally ready to make another serious attempt at the league. Without healing in between battles, 5 of my 6 Pokemon faint fighting Bruno. Even with random moves, Charizard makes a heroic effort, defeating 4 of Bruno's Pokemon and 4 of Agatha's Pokemon by itself, but it falls to Agatha's Gengar. Next attempt, my team falls to Agatha's Arbok. Then, I accidentally bring my level 2 Flying Pidgey into the league instead of Kingler, and lose to Agatha again. Agatha's Golbat gets me on attempt 5. On my 6th attempt, I finally beat Agatha again, and actually make it to Lance's final Pokemon, but I'm still nowhere close to winning. Still, this is all part of the plan. As I'm losing, I'm gaining experience and stockpiling healing items necessary to make a real run. I decide I have enough healing items to try again, but not enough levels. While repeatedly challenging the league is great at giving some Pokemon experience, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Pidgeotto are really falling behind in levels now. So, I train up my entire team to the next damage rounding threshold at level 48, then go in for another real attempt. This time, Pidgeotto and Squirtle are level 48, Bulbasaur and Kingler are level 50, Pikachu is level 52, and Charizard is level 62. Pikachu and Kingler can easily defeat Lorelei now, with Pikachu knocking out her first 3 Pokemon and Kingler defeating her last 2. Bruno is now trivial, because Kingler easily sweeps his entire team. Agatha is still annoying. Pidgeotto's wing attack still can't break Gengar's substitute in one hit, but when I start with the full team, I'm not in too much danger here unless I get really unlucky. Pidgeotto can take out her first Gengar and Haunter, Pikachu destroys her Golbat, and her Arbok is just generally kinda bad. Agatha's final Gengar is still pretty scary, but it's also inconsistent. As long as I switch out my Pokemon when she puts him to sleep, so I don't let her heal with Dream Eater, my Pokemon are slowly able to chip it down. This time, Charizard lands the finishing blow, and I'm back to fighting Lance. Pikachu is quickly becoming my league MVP, and has earned enough experience now to one-shot Gyarados with Thunderbolt. Lance's Dragonair is still terrifying. I try to switch in Bulbasaur to get off Leech Seed, but slam 2 shots, knocking out my plant before it can move. I send back in Pikachu, which can't 2-shot with Thunder, allowing Lance to heal up and take out Pikachu with Hyper Beam. Still, Pikachu did enough. Kingler comes in, and Hyper Beam takes out the dragon. Lance's next Dragonair doesn't have Thunderbolt, so Kingler easily defeats it with a Stomp and Hyper Beam. Kingler also defeats Aerodactyl with a Crabhammer, prompting Lance to send in his ace. This level 62 Dragonite knows Thunder, Fire Blast, Blizzard, and Hyper Beam. Ash doesn't have any Ice-type moves. This Dragonite can one-hit KO every single Pokemon on Ash's team, and is the toughest individual opponent Ash will have to face this entire game. Kingler outspeeds and uses Hyper Beam, which deals massive damage, but Dragonite survives and knocks out my Crab with Thunder. The scoreboard might say I'm up 3-1, but Dragonite says Thunder twice, and suddenly my Pidgeotto and Squirtle are gone. Only Charizard is left, and I cannot command it. Come on, Charizard, don't let me down. My Lizard leads off with Submission, doing nothing, while Dragonite hits a massive Blizzard. Then Charizard turns things around with a Fire Spin, dealing a ton of damage, but Lance heals Dragonite with a Hyper Potion. Charizard deals some damage with Flamethrower, dodges a Thunder, then continues hitting it hard with Fire Spin. After that, Charizard decides to use Submission again, and Dragonite takes advantage, KOing Charizard with Thunder and sending Ash blacking out again. That was brutal, but I have a plan now. Next time I face him, I let Pikachu go down after doing a bit of damage to Lance's Dragonair, then send in Kingler. Once again, I take out the first Dragonair with Hyper Beam, but then I use Kingler's secret weapon, the move Kingler only learned when it hit level 49. You may meme this move. You may think the developers had no idea what they were doing when they made it Kingler's strongest attack, but it truly is the saving grace of our run. Instead of knocking out Lance's second Dragonair, Kingler spams Harden. This move normally raises the user's defense by 1 stage, but in Generation 1, it also has a glitched hidden effect, one that makes this move way better than it has any right to be. In Generation 1, Gym Badges increase your Pokemon stats by 12.5% in their respective categories. For example, Brock's badge increases attack, and Koga's badge increases speed. This is normal, and part of the intended gameplay. This game, though, is coded together with duct tape and prayers, so whenever your Pokemon stats are changed through a move, the game reapplies every single badge boost to your Pokemon. So Harden doesn't just increase Kingler's defense, it also increases Kingler's attack, special, and speed stats by 12.5%. This Dragonair's moveset is Wrap, Bubble Beam, Ice Beam, and Hyper Beam, and because of good AI, it will only spam Wrap and Hyper Beam against Kingler. As long as Dragonair doesn't get a critical hit, Kingler can set up 6 Hardens here, improving all of its stats to sky-high levels and sweeping this entire fight. At least, Kingler can theoretically do that. Unfortunately, after defeating Dragonair, Kingler levels up to level 54. Because Gen 1 code is Spaghetti, this level up resets all of Kingler's badge boosts, allowing Aerodactyl to outspeed Kingler. Then, Kingler misses a Crab Hammer and Aerodactyl critical hits Kingler with Hyper Beam, bypassing all of Kingler's Hardens and KOing my Crab. All that planning and build-up, and Kingler didn't even get past Aerodactyl. Ouch. Squirtle comes in to try and damage Aerodactyl with Bubble Beam, but gets a 1 in 256 Gen 1 miss, so the fossil knocks out my turtle with Fly. Pidgeotto hits Aerodactyl with Sand Attack, and Charizard comes in to knock out the fossil, but it's too little too late. Dragonite vanquishes my team yet again. My next attempt, things line up perfectly. Dragonair lands a critical hit on Kingler, so I only feel comfortable setting up to +5 defense. But then, we see those badge boosts in action as Kingler outspeeds and KOs Aerodactyl. Then, Kingler launches a massive +5 Harden boosted Hyper Beam at Dragonite. It does so much damage, and I think I've done it, but Dragonite survives on 1 HP. Lance heals his dragon, then uses Thunder on my recharge turn, knocking out Kingler while his ace is still at full health. If I had set up one more Harden, that would have one-shot, but I didn't know the damage ranges. I get one more chance to win this battle. Charizard takes Dragonite to low orange health, and has a chance to win it with Seismic Toss. But my strongest Pokemon uses Submission instead, allowing the Dragonite the chance to KO with Thunder. My next fight against Lance, I learned my lesson, setting up to +6 before going for the sweep. This time, Kingler uses Hyper Beam, and misses. But Dragonite misses with Thunder and gives me another shot. Kingler uses Hyper Beam one more time! And it misses again, letting Dragonite sweep my team. My next attempt, Kingler misses a Hyper Beam against Lance's Dragonair, then gets paralyzed by Thunder Wave. As a result, Aerodactyl KOs Kingler and Dragonite sweeps me. I'm on my 7th attempt against Lance, and every single time I fight him, my team soaks up experience from fighting the rest of the league. Pikachu has caught up to Charizard at level 62, Kingler is level 58, and everyone except Squirtle has reached at least level 50 by now. I try to pull off the Harden sweep again, but this time, Kingler levels up after defeating Dragonair, allowing Aerodactyl to outspeed it. Luckily, Aerodactyl doesn't crit, so its attacks bounce off of Kingler's hardened shell, and Kingler KOs with Crab Hammer. Then, Kingler goes for Hyper Beam on Dragonite, but because Kingler lost its attack boosts, it only does half before Dragonite takes it out with Thunder. Pikachu comes in next, baiting out a Hyper Potion, dodging a Blizzard, then dealing so much damage with Thunderbolt. Dragonite is down to red health now, so all Charizard has to do is land one good move. Charizard misses a Fire Spin. Then Charizard misses Seismic Toss. Multiple Blizzards bring the Lizard down to 8 HP, and Charizard gets one more chance to win the match. Come on, Charizard! Flamethrower hits, knocking the dragon out and defeating the second strongest trainer in the game. I came into the league at level 45. I've blacked out so many times that Pikachu is level 62, Kingler is 58, Bulbasaur is 52, Pidgeotto is 50, and Squirtle is 49. Even while selecting random moves, Charizard has been such a force that it's leveled up from level 57 to 62. This team has fought. This team has failed. This team has grown. I don't think Ash would ever have it any other way. In the final chamber of the league, Ash sees a familiar face. That smug grin, that condescending expression, that insufferable personality. Gary Oak has become champion, and Ash needs to put this man in his place. Come on out, Sandslash! Bulbasaur, go! Sandslash, target Bulbasaur's grass typing with a poison sting! Bulbasaur, use Razor Leaf! Sandslash is unable to battle. Bulbasaur wins! I wonder why Gary keeps forgetting Bulbasaur is part poison type. That is really unlike him. Alakazam, come on out! Take advantage of Bulbasaur's poison typing with your psychic attacks! Like Kinesis! Uh-oh, Bulbasaur, return! Go Pidgeotto, use Sand Attack! Alakazam, fight through it, use Psychic! Pidgeotto, Double Edge! Ha! Alakazam, dodge it, then finish it off with another Psychic! Pidgeotto is unable to battle. Alakazam is the winner. Uh-oh, this is bad. Ash struggled with this Pokemon when it was Kadabra, so it's no wonder he's struggling now that it's evolved. Kingler, I choose you! Alakazam, Psychic! Kingler, use... Oh no! I forgot to use Ethers! I don't have Hyper Beam PP left! Kingler, use Stomp! Ha! Your Stomp can't KO Alakazam. Now finish it! With Kinesis! Dodge it, Kingler, and finish it off with another Stomp! Alakazam is unable to battle. Kingler is the winner. Alright! Ash's Kingler was just too powerful for Alakazam. Ash is really heating up. Heh, so the boy has a bit of luck. Come on out, Executor. Kingler, return! Go, Charizard! Uh-oh. Charizard resists Leech Seed, so I better not use it. Executor, hit Charizard with a barrage! Come on, Charizard, Flamethrower attack! Charizard, stop sleeping, I need you right now! Oh, come on, Charizard, don't use Submission against the Psychic type! Wow, that's so embarrassing, but I guess it's what I should expect from a loser. Executor is unable to battle. Charizard is the winner! Are you serious? It didn't even use a Fire-type move. Whatever. Cloyster, go! Ice Beam! Charizard is unable to battle. Cloyster is the winner! Nice work, Charizard. Pikachu, I need you right now. Use Thunder! Cloyster is unable to battle. Pikachu is the winner! I'm surprised, Ash. You're doing better than I thought. But you won't win this one. Ninetales, go! Quick attack! Pikachu, return! Come on out, Squirtle! Use Withdraw, then Bubble Beam! Stop it from moving with Confuse Ray, Ninetales! Keep up the Bubble Beam, Squirtle! Ninetales is unable to battle. Squirtle is the winner! Wow, Ash is about to win! Gary's down to 1 Pokemon and Ash still has 4 of his! That's a serious advantage to Ash! I'm down to my last Pokemon, huh? Well, I ain't losing. Go, Jolteon, use Thunder! Squirtle is unable to battle. Jolteon is the winner. Bulbasaur, use Razor Leaf. Jolteon, counter it with Pin Missile. Bulbasaur is unable to battle. Jolteon is the winner. Kingler, I choose you! Kingler is unable to battle. Jolteon is the winner. Oh no, that Jolteon is really tough. I thought I was winning, and just like that, it's a 1v1 for the League Championship. Pikachu, I need you right now. Use Thunder. Jolteon, dodge and attack with Pin Missile. Don't let it get away, Pikachu. Now finish it off with Quick Attack. Jolteon! Jolteon is unable to battle. Pikachu is the winner. Ash is the new Kanto Region Champion. And so, after many daunting trials and tribulations, we can prove that Ash's team could have become the Indigo League champion. Does this mean his team was good, and that all of his decisions were vindicated? No, not at all. Honestly, Ash was a terrible trainer in Kanto. In the anime, Ash lost the Indigo League because his team wasn't there yet. His Pokemon were unevolved, his moveset choices were absurd, and his battle strategy was unrefined. Whenever Ash lucked his way into a good or even great Pokemon, he'd fail to train this Pokemon properly. In Kanto, Ash never understood that his Charizard liked fighting tough Fire-type opponents, and whenever Charizard was out, he assumed that Charizard would want the same thing he wanted. This led to him getting frustrated with Charizard, ignoring Charizard until he needed the fire type instead of listening and trying to understand the Pokemon's needs. He did the same thing with Primeape, throwing away one of his strongest Pokemon because he didn't think he would be able to raise it properly. Honestly, Ash was probably right. At this point in time, he probably couldn't have handled Primeape. Before I played this challenge, I assumed that in the anime, Pokemon would have completely random strengths regardless of moves used or evolution levels. And I was half right. But something really surprised me. In this playthrough, Pikachu was my strongest Pokemon. Charizard became an absolute beast when it evolved, powering up my team so much in such a limited time frame. This playthrough has made me a huge Squirtle squad hater, so imagine my surprise when Blaine's Ninetales squatted that Squirtle aside in the anime just as easily as Blaine stopped it in the games. In the anime, Ash's weak, unevolved Pokemon honestly felt kinda weak, and Ash's evolved Pokemon felt significantly stronger. While the anime might have utterly failed at competently writing Pokemon battle mechanics, it did a surprisingly good job at matching my playthrough's vibes. My point here is, in the anime and in this run, Ash was constantly outclassed because of his lack of evolutions and poor movesets. He had to BS his way to ridiculous victories because he didn't have the skills as a trainer to win tough battles any other way. Ash struggled because he was a bad trainer, and his losses were due to inexperience. If Ash didn't have the ability to retry the league as many times as he wanted, Ash's journey would have ended with a loss to Lance, which I think actually matches perfectly with his loss to Richie in the anime. However, before I trash Ash too much, I want to acknowledge how far he got. Ash got 8 badges. Ash got further than Gary in the Johto League. Ash found friends who respect and love him, and he raised a team that fights for him. That's because for what he lacks in strategy, Ash has never forgotten what he's fighting for. He is selfless, brave, and caring. He loves his Pokemon and will do anything for them. While the people around him have to figure out why they even care about Pokemon battling, Ash knows he does it to protect the people and Pokemon around him. Ash is dedicated to the point of obsession. As a result, he just works harder than everyone else, and his Pokemon who notice try to return the favor. The writers did all of this intentionally. They knew he was a bad trainer, and they knew he was a great trainer. In Kanto, Ash's inexperience made things harder, but we all know that as soon as Ash gets enough experience to take advantage of his fanatical devotion to Pokemon battling, he's going to become a force to be reckoned with. The only question is how long that's going to take. Will he unlock his potential in Johto? We will see, because next video, Ash attempts to take on Pokemon Crystal with his Johto team. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.